Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we are back in our game where we started as a small Jewish county in Ethiopia, and we took over all of Ethiopia, and then after that we actually moved and retook the Holy Land in the name of our Jewish faith. If you want to go watch those two videos where we did all of that, I'll put them on the screen now. I want you to know there were some pretty epic things that happened in that game, but I do not want to spoil it for you guys.
We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
I've been reading a lot of your guys' comments in that video, and a lot of you guys said what you want to see in this game is for me to take Egypt and to take our beautiful lands in Jerusalem and connect them to our Ethiopian lands. I think that's a pretty good goal for this video. I don't think it's too lofty, because if you take a look at the troops of the Ashari Muslim Empire here, you can see they actually have 14,000 and we have almost 14,000, so it should be a pretty even war when we decide to do that. But for now we have a lot of building and other things to do, and you can see that we left ourselves with 2,000 gold, which is actually a ton. So we left ourselves an option to buy a lot of mercenaries if we need them. And currently we are holding two duchies. One of them is the Duchy of Gondar, where we currently have a beautiful grand temple here, making us lots of money, as you can see. And the second duchy, which we control, of course, is the Duchy of Palestine. And you can see we are making just heaps of gold right out of Jerusalem. One thing I think I'm going to do is actually switch off of researching the second tier of siege weapons, because I think it's more important to get manorialism, which will let us actually build some of the economic duchy buildings in the two duchies that we hold, and this will really help skyrocket our gold income even higher than what it currently is at 41. Also, I want you guys to let me know in the comments if you find the recording a little bit smoother. In some of my other videos, if you notice a little bit of lag, it's probably because my OBS software was set to use my computer's CPU in the recording process instead of the graphics card. So the gameplay should be a lot smoother now. But another reason you do see a lot of lag when I play is because I'm always playing at ×5 speed. So sometimes when it's auto-saving at ×5 speed with like tons of units moving around, it can be pretty laggy. I was thinking about if I should continue this game or the game we were playing in Sweden. Oh my goodness. I can't even talk for 2 seconds without the Pope declaring another crusade against me. Is this a joke?
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
I actually cannot believe this. This is going to be the second crusade we're going to have to deal with in this game. Oh my goodness. And the thing that I'm very worried about now is actually, since it's later in the game, I'm worried if the Catholic rulers have gotten a lot stronger. But we'll have to see. They look kind of like they've been a bit broken up. But what I was saying, I'm not sure if I wanted to continue this game or the Asatru Norse game that we were playing, because when I came into this game I saw how much money I had and all of the stats, and I thought, oh, I'm too overpowered already and it won't really be fun. But it is still before the 1066 start date that we are in the other game, so there's still a lot of stuff that we can do in this game. All that being said, the Pope just declared another crusade against me. We are going to have to get ready for another massive defense, and something that I think we could do actually is, if we look for alliances, we could ally ourselves to this empire over here. As you can see, they are actually also fellow Jewish rulers. Although a different type than me, it still allows us to get married to them and set up a beautiful alliance. So I'm going to ship my daughter over there.
Good night, girl.
And that should at least guarantee us an ally with around 8,000 troops. So now we should have a grand total of around 21,000, which hopefully will be enough to defend against the Pope and all of his Catholic friends, who are again coming to try and kill me. Wow, I forgot how awesome the land was over here in around Jerusalem. There's so many wonders and things. It just looks really sick. So I guess it is good that we have this much gold, because I'm probably going to need it to hire mercenaries if this crusade gets out of hand. We also have a holy order with 5,000 men, which is really good, because I think I'll be able to call these guys into the crusade as well. And they have so many camel regiments. I find that hilarious. They're just an army of camels. So unfortunately, before we have a chance to take Egypt, we're gonna have to defend against this crusade. So some very silly man looks like he declared war on me for this tiny piece of land here in the north of my empire. So of course we're gonna have to crush this before it gets out of hand. I think if I remember correctly, we have a ton of men at arms in this game, so I think we can do with a local army over here, and we should be able to quickly finish this war, hopefully before the crusade starts, because I need to be ready for that crusade. Okay, we didn't have time to finish this little war here, so yeah, I'm actually just gonna white piece this war because I don't have to deal with it right now, because as you can see we have a crusade that we need to deal with first. So if we look at the numbers of this crusade, it looks like they have 27,000 and we have 25,000 with all of our allies. Actually is not that bad, especially because I can call this other empire who I just made an alliance with, which is going to get me more troops than the Crusaders. Last crusade, if you guys remember, we were actually fighting more than double the amount of troops that we had. So I think we actually should be able to do this one without too many problems. So I'm just going to go ahead and raise all of my men here. Okay, and there's the Pope, right on cue. And it looks like he came just with an army of 3,800 men. So we should be able to actually spank these guys pretty easily. Okay, and there's his friends. And we were able to catch one of them, and the other one didn't join because he knew he was going to lose. So it looks like we should be able to catch actually the other one too now. And let's get a nice view of this one. Look at that damage too. Nothing better than killing the Crusaders. Okay, so that's already two pretty big battle wins. If we have a look at them, you can see we actually obliterated them, and this one we actually stack wiped. One thing I'm going to have to try to avoid is losing too many supplies when I'm waiting around for the Crusaders to come back, because if I go into battles with my supplies low, it could mean some heavy losses in those battles. So it looks like the Pope came back, but this time with around 10,000 men, and it should be pretty easy again to go and kill him. And you can see in this one, again, we killed 3,000 men. So we're actually doing a lot of damage to their numbers. I might actually disband one of my armies because I honestly don't think we need it with all of my allies around, and it'll actually make sure that I keep generating money over here. Okay, here's another army, and this one is all of the Pope's allies, it looks like. We have your various European rulers who have come all the way over here to Jerusalem to try to take the land away from me.
I'm not fucking leaving!
Okay, this looks like a bigger threat, but I think we should still be able to do a number on them. Okay, and we'll see. They are very spread out, so that's definitely something we have going for us here. And already we have won the crusade. I think that might honestly be the easiest crusade I've ever done.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
And can that please be the last one? I know they always have a habit of doing like 10 crusades for the same place always, and it's so irritating to me. Eventually you just gotta give up. But I think now I actually have enough men to go up here and help out my ally, who actually wasn't even able to help me in the crusade, but we didn't need him. But since he is another fellow Jewish ruler, I do want him to succeed. You can actually see what is pretty cool is that we're going to have a huge Jewish realm down here, which is me, and then him up here is also a big Jewish realm. So it's going to be like kind of a pincer offensive on the Muslims, the Orthodox, and even the Catholics if we want to go that far. This is cool. I didn't know this, but it looks like my army's going to sail right through Byzantium. I guess, like, I don't know how else they would get there. They would have had to run or something. Like, that wouldn't really work.
What are you talking about?
So if you see here, if we wanted to go right into this battle... Oh, crap, I was still playing. I was going to explain that if I wanted to go right into this battle, we would have a huge penalty because we're coming off a boat, which you can see would give us this disembarking penalty, which is a -30 to our damage modifier, which is actually like a pretty big penalty. So I was going to say, you should never go right off the boat into a battle. You should always go somewhere else on the side first. Wait, I think it takes 30 days for this to go down to 0, and then you can go into a battle after that. But you know what? I was too slow on the pause, so we're actually just getting in there. And if you look at this, you see this huge penalty is all because of the recently disembarked modifier that we have on our army here. So I guess I'm doing more of a real life demonstration this time. But it turns out we're going to win this battle anyway, so it does not really matter in the end. Oh my goodness, we actually got a stack wipe somehow, even though we had such a bad penalty. I think what I might do is wait until this character dies before I declare war on this big Arab empire here, because they're a little bit too strong for my liking right now. So I think what I'm going to do next is actually just a few wars for some of these tiny little tribal places around the south of my empire. The border gore is really starting to bother me, and they keep raising like raider armies who are just going around and raiding my southern lands. So I think it's about time that they died.
Oh boy, here I go killing again.
What I'm actually going to do is actually just do all the wars at once, because, or at least as many wars at once as I can, because I'm fed up with these guys and I want to get it over with. Maybe I'll do some kind of montage for you guys. So just like that, we have finished all 4 of our wars. Some of them we weren't able to get the whole thing at once, so we'll have to wait until these truces run out. But already it looks so much better than it did before. I'm sure I've talked about this before, but I'm about to pick up this Learn on the Job perk, which actually adds 20% of your counselor's skill points in their respective like job to your characters. So you can take a look at my stats here. This is what they look like. These are all my counselors, and since they're all above 20% of that is going to be at least a +4.
2 + 2 is 4. Quick maths.
In all of my stats. So it actually makes a huge difference. So look at this. Unlock that. And now if we look at my stats, you can see they all have a decent increase from the Learn on the Job bonus. This whole tree is actually really good, especially if you're trying to fill out the tech tree quickly, which I am trying to do now, because I feel like we're a little bit behind. We don't have some things that I would like I want to get battlements so I can start upgrading my castles, because that's the only thing that's really holding me back from upgrading all these buildings, is because I do not have the keep building. Because other than that, I think I've pretty much upgraded. I pretty much spent all the gold everywhere I can, so that is the only thing I'm missing right now, are a few technologies. One thing I can spend my goal on, however, is constructing a couple temple holdings in some of these counties I have that have free slots. I'd much rather make a city holding, because they actually have a building, the guilds, which give you a huge bonus to your development growth. If you don't already have a temple, you have to build the temple first. So I'm going to go ahead and just build those. They're not like the best value because I won't be able to hold them. I'll have to give them away to a priest. But I have so much money at this point, there's almost nothing else I can spend it on other than that and upgrading my men-at-arms, which I will go ahead and do right now. So I was having a look around for some wives for my sons, and I found my first genius who are actually able to marry. Now that our religion is getting pretty big, we're getting more and more characters, which is awesome for us because our gene pool is going to increase, and we should be able to start having a very, very nice family. This guy still hasn't died yet. It's kind of like a battle between me and him who's going to die first, because there is always a good period of instability after your character dies. We are 58, but you can see we have a lot of good bonuses here, and they are 61. So I'm hoping that we can outlive them. So I got thrust into a war here from one of my vassals, and it's not going to be a hard war or anything, but I just want to show you guys the power of the men-at-arms army. You can see here we only have 600 levies, and we're about to go into a fight with all of these armies here, who are mostly comprised of levies, and we'll just see how much damage we are actually able to do. Oh yeah, I like those big green numbers. So yeah, if we take a look at this here, we can see the battle is pretty even in the amount of starting soldiers, but it's just the men-at-arms. Having a whole army of men-at-arms is so powerful. Look at how many people we ended up killing here. So I just had another battle here, and you can see this one was against almost 5,000 with the same army of 3,000, and you can see we still decisively won the battle. Okay, so it looks like we outlasted the former emperor of this big Arab empire here, and it looks like they're in a few wars of their own, and they only have about 8,000 troops, it says. So if we go to war with them, and we haven't used our war for a kingdom yet, because you can only do one of these a lifetime, we can go ahead and choose the Kingdom of Egypt. So we can just declare that for only 750 piety. I'm actually just going to raise a local army. It might not be good enough, but we'll have to see. And we should be able to hopefully take the whole kingdom of Egypt, which would be pretty sick. Oh, this is pretty cool too. So we actually got enough piety to become a religious icon, which is the highest level of piety in the game. And because we did this, we can consecrate our bloodline, which means it just means that our dynasty is going to get a little bit of renown. 500 renown is definitely pretty helpful, and our character will get a nice little trait. So we just unlocked manorialism, and that is going to let us build our duchy specific buildings in our 2 duchies. And the next thing I'm going to go to start working towards is battlements. That will let us upgrade our castles further. I have to decide what I want to make in my 2 duchy capitals, and in our and in Jerusalem you can see we're already making 9.5 gold per month from this one county. So actually, if I build the tax offices, which give you a 10% boost to your holding taxes, that'll actually increase my tax by 0.95 per month, which is more value than the royal reserves. So I'm going to go ahead and make the tax offices in this county of Jerusalem. And then in my second duchy over here in Gondar, here you can see we are only actually making 1.8 tax per month because we don't have any special buildings or anything. So I don't think it's really worth it to either build these royal reserves or the tax office here. So I think what I'm going to do in this duchy capital is actually wait until I can get these military academies, because I think these are the military academies is a pretty good value building to get. It gives you an increase of 2 knights and more damage on your knights, which is really good, especially if you have a big empire with a lot of knights. The good thing about our character though is he does have the scholar trait and insanely high learning, so he is able to research things incredibly fast. It's just too bad he probably won't survive for too much longer, but we are all ready to play as our son, who actually now has this very cool consecrated blood fame trait. Okay, and just as I was talking about that, our character died, so now we're going to play as our son, who definitely isn't as good as our last character, but they actually do have a good amount of stewardship already, which is helpful. And he's married to a genius, of course, so hopefully our kids will be very good. You can see we have some great characters in our court right now, with some really high stats. And for now, I'll actually pick up chivalry because I am in a war here. You can see it changed the color of our empire because we actually hold multiple empires. So I'm just going to go ahead and make the Empire of Israel our primary one because I love this light blue color, as well as the emblem is super cool. And for this character's lifestyle focus, I'm also going to go down the learning tree just because I want my characters to do really well in learning so I can get some quick researching done. Because right now, you can see it's going to take 28 years to get battlements, which isn't the best. I'd like to speed that up. Okay, so as you can probably see, we just finished our war here for the Sultanate of Egypt. And we can go ahead and force our demands, and look how beautiful this looks now. We connected our Jerusalem part of our empire to our Ethiopian part of our empire, and it looks super awesome now. We have a ton of land actually. These areas here in Egypt are actually impassable terrain, so it doesn't count as like a duchy or a holding or anything, but when you have the area around it, it fills in, so it makes it look like you have more land than you actually do. Like you can see up here, it's all the same thing. I'm going to have to redistribute some of this land, and the way I'm going to do that is by creating duchies anywhere that haven't been created yet, and then I'll just be able to give the duchies away as a whole. That one I just gave to my brother. It's an easy way to divide your land, but it's also very quick too. So like over here, for an example, you can see we have what's called the Delta Duchy here, which has 3 counties part of it. And I'm just going to go ahead and grant this to this guy over here. I'm always looking for people who have the same culture and religion as me, because they're going to be less likely to rise up against me. You can also always check their traits. Like it's good to get people who are cravens because they probably won't rise up against you, and some other traits are important too. But most of the time I'll just look for somebody with the same religion and culture, and that's good enough for me. I will do the same thing over here in Cairo and grant it to this person. And then I still have 2 pieces of land I need to get rid of. This duchy here in Sinai, and this is actually a really good start to this guy's career because you can see creating and usurping all of these duchies, like this one, gives me a good heap of prestige, and that prestige is going to bump us up on the fame tree. And the fame tree is a great way to make sure that people will still like you, because the more famous you are, as you can see here, I am distinguished right now, so I get a +5, but every level I go up on this fame tree, it's going to add more of a positive modifier with my vassals' opinions of me. So now my land has been redistributed, and the best part is it's been redistributed to people who are of our religion, so they're going to go ahead and start converting all of this land here to our religion as well. And you can see we have an available dynastic legacy, and wow, I just saw this is actually pretty powerful. But I think I'll go down, I'll keep going down the blood tree because I want to start my eugenics program here. What? Because you can see my current character doesn't have any traits, but our wife does. I think my war with this empire here kind of screwed them. They were doing all right until I took Egypt away from them, and now they have only 250 men and they're losing 3 wars at like really high percentages. So do I feel bad? Honestly, not at all.
Got him!
I would like to take this land over here from this kingdom on our left. They're tribal, but they honestly haven't bothered me too much recently. But I have to wait to get my level of devotion up to the next one. So to speed that up, I'm also going to go on a pilgrimage. And hopefully I can get the pilgrim trait from that. And then it'll increase our piety. How much piety we're going to get per month. And that'll help us. Oh, so I didn't get the pilgrim, but I actually got the wise man trait, which is cool because that's a virtue for our religion. So I actually have 2 different virtues for our religion now. Oh yeah, this is our son, by the way. Doesn't have any intelligence traits, so I'm not too happy with him. He is bossy though, so we'll give him a martial education and hopefully send him off to war when he's old enough. So it looks like this empire here rebranded as the Arabian Empire, and they are still pretty weak, may I say so. They only have 5,000 troops now, and I could do a war for one of their duchies, but like I said before, it's not really like, when I'm this big, even a war for a duchy doesn't really get you that much land. It's almost worth it more to just do your one war for a big kingdom every life. But what I will do for them is actually declare war for this tiny county they have down here somehow right in the middle of my land, and it should be incredibly easy to take. Okay, so I just finished cleaning up a little bit of this border gore that was in the south and some of the places that I had in the middle, and you can see our land is looking super clean. I just like having my land not split up into little counties. I find it's better to have your land split up as duchies if I'm at this level. And then maybe, oh my goodness.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy.
And then maybe if I wanted my huge empire, I would split it up into kingdoms, but I do not need to do that yet. But look at this son that my wife just had me. Genius with the consecrated blood. He will be perfect to play as. I can disinherit this guy after, and he's just going to be the perfect little child to play as. But I think I'm actually going to end the video here. We did a number today on the world, on this part of the world. You can see we took a lot of land in Egypt, and we cleaned up our border gore over here. And I think we are comfortably the strongest area in the game right now. I don't see who else could possibly be stronger than us. You can look at the stats up here. We just have so much of everything. It might be a shorter video for you guys today. I hope that's okay with you. I'll still be back next week with another video. Let me know if there's any interesting starts you want me to play through, or if I should try saving another one of your games, and I will play through them and save them and then send them back to you so you can continue playing them yourselves. I'll show you guys the religion screen down here. You can see we actually have a huge portion of the world supporting our Jewish religion up here, and we have our Jewish brothers up here in the north who we are helping. But on that note, I'll leave you guys. I hope you have a good day. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.